This is like full on me, man. Let's just. Yeah. Okay. Wait, hold on. So that thing is going live there. You can deal with this, no? I'll deal with that. Okay. Okay, we're live on Facebook as well. All right. Okay, dude, you gotta share a page here, man. So you can see here. Okay. Yeah, come a little bit. Okay, guys. I hope everyone's doing well here. Well, please share some of your thoughts
on how to increase employment in Nagaland.
Yeah, sorry for asking again to cover the topic because I might have missed it.
I think that's what we want to talk about today also. Right?
Yes, yes, exactly. Yeah. Hello, guys, on Facebook and on Instagram. This is my friend and my cousin. And by the way, it doesn't pop up, okay? It doesn't show the viewers, but you will see later on. So this is kind of like a podcast where what we're going to do is we're going to talk about any topics that we want. And this is a very random topic, that you are interested in, or you have any comments, feel free, okay? We will actually try to help you guys out, or we'll actually try to help ourselves out, to answer and brainstorm the questions, right? Okay, so what do you think about his question here? I think what he's trying to say is the jobs in Nagaland, particularly the youths, they seem to be there seem to be a gap here, okay? And I feel like we actually need to talk about this. So my thoughts on this is, okay, here's the thing. If so many people come from different cities, right? For example, after the whole COVID-19 issue here, the problem here is we have already so less jobs here, okay? And I don't,
especially like government sector. It's like
yes,
everything's full.
If you want to work in the government sector, as far as my research is concerned, I think they have about 1 lakh, people who are working for the government already. So, it's kind of like impossible for anybody to get into the government. And there's, 80,000 people. Okay, see, I'm citing sources because I have got these sources from a lot of my mentors who have been very prominent here in Nagaland. Okay, so I feel like there's some credibility on my sources here, but there's about 80,000 people who are jobless right now. Okay, educated job students, people who are jobless,
basically graduates,
right?
BA pass, everything. Yeah. So what do you think? Like, what should they look for? Where do they get employment from?
Right.
So what are your thoughts on that?
Okay, we got somebody. Both of you need to be sit a little closer. Okay. All right. Yeah, I think. All right. Okay.
So what do you think?
So I think for me, I feel like education is very important from the grassroots level, as we have discussed, right? Because if you really think about, the work ethic that we have in Nagaland, there seems to be a problem. Because why I say this, because there's a lot of like people who do not like to work in certain jobs that may seem to be a little, embarrassing per se.
Yeah.
For example, I'll just give you my example. When I was working in my college in America, I used to be working in, the dining hall. So I used to be a dishwasher, and I used to be, I used to help out with the cook. I used to clean all the bathrooms and all that stuff. And I used to even serve, and clean all the tables where all the students are still eating. So sometimes I get dirty stares too, but I'm not embarrassed. So that's just an example.
That's the job. Like that's what
Yeah.
Naga people, they would like look down on you.
Yeah.
If you're doing those kind of jobs.
Right. Right.
So I think Naga people, we have to change our mindset.
Yes.
Like we have to have this kind of work ethic,
Right.
where it has, like in Japan,
Right. Right.
from kids they're like taught to clean the classrooms together.
Right. Right.
They're taught to like clean the bathrooms after school.
Correct.
Everyone does it, like poor or rich.
Right.
They all do it together.
Yes. Yeah.
So that builds like this kind of common like sense of unity
Yes.
among the
Yes.
like, oh, that's dirty, let's clean it together.
Right.
Or like something is broken, let's fix it together.
Let's do it together.
Like in Nagaland, the mindset is like, oh, that's broken, let someone else do it.
Yeah.
Fix it,
Yeah. Yeah.
Why do I have to care?
That's right. That's right.
So I think, like you said, grassroots level.
Yes.
That's very important. Like we have to teach kids from when they're very young, like the sense of civic duty.
Oh, you can have a look at there. Yeah. So yeah, I think. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Because I think people are watching here as well. So basically, what he's pointing out is, there needs to be a kind of like a commonality of civic sense that needs to be rooted out from from the ground up, which is kind of lacking here, And yeah, I just wanted to add this as well. Returnees from the city post COVID has kind of like a new narrative per se in our history of Nagaland. This has never happened. Besides, okay, maybe there was an exodus. Remember, there was a problem with like the phone, like all the phones of Northeast people were kind of like hacked, and they were like telling them to go back to their own land. And you forgot? Okay, it's called Exodus. I covered this in my previous podcast, but this is very, very much in India. Okay, guys. So people who are my friends, Esther as well. She's from Korea. Hello, Esther. But anyways, we're talking about India, okay?
Nagaland especially.
Yeah, in Nagaland. And by the way, guys, I just want you all to know, okay? This is my cousin and my friend. He's my cousin, okay? And he's my guest speaker.
Not a guest speaker per se, but just trying to debate.
Yeah. And getting to the conversation that needs to be filled up, right? We have a lot of gaps here, and people are not speaking up here. To be honest.
I mean, a lot of people here in Nagaland have a lot of things to say, but they don't have the platform to say the stuff that they want to say. So I think what you're doing is like it's really good. It's small,
right?
Like maybe you have a few things, hundreds of views.
Sure.
But then I think more Nagas, they should do this, like they should speak out what they want to say.
Yes.
Instead of just complaining every time,
Yes.
Sitting at home or like talking with friends.
Right. And I just want to point this out here. Yes, I know there's a lot of like people who write in Facebook, okay, and yes, you have to filter it out sometimes because I kind of feel like this whole Chakrabarti thing, Hema Chakrabarti, Chowdhury, right? Yeah. This whole thing happened, and there was a lot of like very hateful stuff that I felt like as a person from Nagaland, I felt a little bad, to be honest. So it's I think we need. That's why we're saying here we need quality education from the grassroots level, where everything is taught from ethics to civility.
I think Nikki has
to vocation. Yeah. So okay, guys, we have a question here from Nikki Toli.
Do you think the final framework agreement between the GOI and the will bring about lasting peace in our state once it's signed?
So the question here, do you think the final framework agreement, by the way, this is in Nagaland, okay, guys, for those of you who are not from Nagaland, agreement between the government of India and the NNPGs, okay, will bring about the lasting peace in our state once it is signed.
What's your opinion?
My opinion is, I feel like it is a very important meeting per se, and I'm sure that there's a lot of people who have studied this more than us, to be honest.
Yeah. Who are more aware
of it. Yeah. So I won't comment too deep on it, but from like a layman's perspective, or from my perspective, I feel like we need this because in order for us to move forward as a state, okay, within the parts, of Northeast and India, how we should move forward. I think, we need to have some kind of a peaceful resolution or peaceful solution whereby we will have investors in Nagaland or in Northeast, right? Without the threat of any forces.
But I think the question is what
Yeah.
he's trying to ask is
Yeah.
if it is signed,
If it is signed.
will there be lasting peace? So
Yeah. Lasting peace.
yeah.
I I hope so. Okay, I hope so. I just feel like there. Okay, here's the thing. Why I'm just want to say this. Okay,
Mm.
see, let's just be honest. If all the underground people, okay, they signed the peace accord, okay, but the problem is, who's going to go back to the government? Okay, is it the lay people? Is it the credible people? Is it people like who have studied, who are educated, who really wants to change Nagaland? Is it going to be them, or is it going to be the same old people who have been running this, bullocks for a freaking long time? Okay,
Yep.
and if that's going to be, I don't think there's going to be peace. So it has to start from us. I think it has to start from from our rooms, from our reading time, and from our you know times like this. I think we have to kind of bring about this debate and topic and speak about it, because I don't think there's. So the answer is, if that's the situation, if the old folks are still going to play their whole corruption game, I don't think there's going to be peace, even though there's like a document. So, what do you say about that?
My point of view is that
Yeah.
I mean they will want to have a big chunk of the power, the ruling power in Nagaland. So basically, they will want to be like the government.
Yeah.
Right.
You're shaking it.
So they will want to be the government.
Yeah.
So I feel like unless they're given those privileges that they've been enjoying so far, not like extortion and all that.
Yes. Yes.
But now they have a legal right to rule the state of
Yes.
Nagaland, right?
Yes.
Only then I think that there will be some sort of peace.
Right. Right.
Otherwise, they're not going to let go of the status quo.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to give up their
There is a status quo
yeah.
that has been maintained
Yeah,
for
exactly.
decades.
So I think my point of view is that there will only be lasting peace if these people are given the reins of power.
Yeah, the legal mandate.
Yeah, exactly.
To rule the state.
To rule the state. Yeah.
Right. 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 Okay.
So that's my point of view.
Okay.
And I think yours is you've stated it.
All right. Well, thanks for the question, Nikkei. I appreciate it. So I think we've passed 11 minutes in live in Facebook here, and we've got a comment here too, by the way. Here. Okay. Anyways.
So what's next?
Okay. So what do you think about the male versus female issue here? The gender gap, or the gender wars that has been very prevalent in today's generation per se.
Go ahead. What's your point of view?
Um, well, it kind of gives me a little concern, because I think both of us, we have kind of discussed about this, is that we have lesser men, boys, who are passing out, lesser men or boys who are going to college or finishing their degrees. And this gives us like a slight peek of the reality that's happening between the gender issues that we're talking about.
I think there's
Right.
too many politicians, not statesmen.
Right.
That's true. Also, yeah.
That's true. That's true. MT Sua, he said there's too many politicians, but not many statesmen. Okay, that's very true. Here you go. Nikki's question here. The tribal factor, tribalism in our state will be a major hindrance towards development? Question mark.
Definitely.
You think so?
I mean, tribalism is already so prevalent in all forms of, our society, government.
Yeah.
Just look at, this is a simple example.
Right.
Like if the minister or the advisor who's in power is in like he's the home minister. So basically, he's like the chief of police.
Right, right.
He'll give most of the jobs to like his constituency people, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that creates that tribalism, like, oh,
Right.
our tribe is like we only reserve this for our tribe.
Sure, sure.
So I mean, tribalism is like it's a very big hindrance.
I
Like
see.
I mean, yeah, I think so.
So he says that it will become a big hindrance. And my opinion is sort of the same, but I would also like to just point out that what's the reason, like we have passed this, threshold of this whole 21st century, and we're moving so fast, and everybody's suffering here, okay, in this whole pandemic time as well. I think what we need to do is we all need to get together, put our brains together, and try to fix things together. Why create more divisions? There's no point. Yuri is here as well, and we have another guy from Naga. Okay. All right. Yeah, so that's the answer for your question. So the whole male and gender, the male and female divide here it has to do with a lot of what is happening in America as well, or what is happening
mainstream.
the mainstream media. We have another question here. I think it will be not very practical to eradicate the present leaders at once. So what can we or our generation or the generation to come do to beat corruption? Okay.
That's difficult.
That's a very good question. How do we beat corruption
without eradicating
without
the leaders? Yeah.
There you go.
We just can't let go of like we can't just tell these politicians like, okay, we don't need you anymore.
Yeah, and I don't think they're gonna go.
Definitely.
Yeah. So that seems to be a problem here. Well,
so what do you think?
I'm trying to.
What can we do, our generation, to beat that corruption?
What can we do, right?
Yeah, what can we do?
Yeah. What we're trying to do is, at least from my perspective, okay, is that see if I do any work here, right? I plan to do it with all my heart, with all my soul, and I'll make sure that the work will be done for the betterment of the society. Okay.
No, dude. I think what he's trying to ask.
The corruption part. Let me get there,
sorry.
right? So if politicians, the or if the public can think like that, maybe we can influence them, right? For example, I think so. I know it's hard to say this, okay, but when the public does something good, you kind of think like, oh, the leaders will react to it, but it's not the case here, right? Like for example, ladies group those days, right? What was that ladies club? The ladies club. They used to do all the flowering and decorations all over Dimapur, okay? And the whole public and even the leaders used to applaud to them. And I think that motivates people to do good works, right? Instead of just doing corruption and swindling all the money that they generate, right? So I think it goes. What my philosophy is from ground up, because it's never going to start from up. The problem here exactly is it's not going to start from up, right? They already know. He's pointing out that the present leaders are corrupt,
and you just can't let go.
You can't do it. So our option here is there's no other option but to start from ground up, right?
I think my opinion about that is that he's right in saying that you just can't discard these old politicians, right? You just can't tell them that, okay, you're not in power anymore.
Right.
I feel like there should be a transition where the next generation is very like headstrong about making change.
Right.
So they're not going to go back into that cycle of okay, let's be like these old politicians.
Yes.
Let's be corrupt.
Yes.
But then it's very hard to, right? If you run for office here, if you run for like if you contest in elections,
yes,
you will eventually have to please your voters.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And what do the voters want?
Right.
Come election day.
Right.
They want money.
Right.
And you're going to be spending tons and tons of money, right?
Right.
So this all goes back, I think, to like the grassroots education,
Yeah.
teaching children when they're young
Yeah.
to have this common sense of civic duty for the common good. Like,
Yes.
we're doing this not for each, like not for ourselves, but
Yes.
we're doing it for everyone around
Everyone
us.
else. Yes.
So I think only then when there's like this really like just say like headstrong generation which comes true,
Yes.
and they say, okay, fine, these old politicians,
Yes.
we're not going to just whatever, like
Yeah.
discard them, but we'll
Right.
compete against them in
Yes.
the elections.
Right.
If we win or lose,
Right.
we want to win,
Right.
and if we win, we are going to like transition Nagaland into like a more like forward, like I guess like
Yeah.
where the world is right now.
Yeah. Catching up.
Yeah, catching up to
Yeah, with the world.
Otherwise, so it's gonna keep going through the same cycle.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
people are gonna like people are very idealistic, anyways.
Yeah.
So they're gonna be like, yeah. So if I become a politician, then I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But when you eventually become a politician,
Yes.
there's a lot of real things which happen.
Right. Right.
There's a lot of behind the scenes that
Yes.
we people we don't know.
Right. Right. Right.
So I think like unless and until that mold is broken by this very headstrong like generation, which they come and they defeat these old politicians,
Yeah.
and they say that we're gonna do what we're gonna do, and they do it. Only then can we kind of root out corruption slowly.
Yeah.
It's not something easy. Yeah.
Right. So guys, we have a couple of more questions here. Okay. So Empty Sua again about the reservation.
Eastern
Nagas 45%, women 33%, and ministers, family, friends 15%.
That's like backdoor, basically.
Right. That's not my saying, but they say. Right. Okay. Ati is here as well. Im Chen Wangshi is here as well. Okay. We got a couple of likes here. Okay. All right. Yeah. So we haven't gotten into this whole female and male problem here. And by the way, I've seen like a couple of newspapers in Nagaland post in Morong Express where women are outdoing men in at least in the education and academic sectors. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think it's a product of what we have been going through, like the education system.
Right.
I'm not saying that it's geared towards women.
Yes.
It's not, especially in India. There's a lot of like still patriarchy and all that kind of stuff. But in the West, they complain about it like as if it's like, look at Western women. They're one of the most privileged women in the world.
Yes.
But they complain about like, oh, we're not given our fair share of this and that.
Right.
When they have actually like they have more benefits than men in many ways.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm not saying that women have it easy. I'm not saying that.
Right.
But what I'm trying to say is that instead of working together, right now mainstream media is dividing men and women. Right? They're making us like fight, like not hate each other also, but like kind of antagonize each other.
Yes.
Not for the better good. It's like women, you guys don't need men.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
Let's do this together. Throughout history, men and women have suffered.
Yes.
But then they have conquered all that, and they have come to where we are right now because of that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if men and women are always like at each other's throats, right, then there'll be no progress. There'll be no families, right? There'll be no like population growth. Boom.
Yes.
So I mean, like this right now, this mainstream narrative that women don't need men, or like men, you guys are like evil. Like, it's bad to be a guy. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's too much leftist politics coming into identity politics, like coming into like. Anyways, yeah, that's my point of view.
All right.
I don't know about yours. But, yeah.
Well, I was just going back to one of my professor who actually gave us like an essay question, right? And California State University, Bakersfield. And he asked a question, okay, what would you do if all the men died away and that you were the only man in the whole island of women? I think if women tends to, antagonize men in all aspects of life. Yeah, sure.
One second. Excuse me. Sorry.
Hold on. Okay, I think we went off.